Well, tonight, the world is watching closely what happens next in Iran after the country's ultra-conservative leader was killed in a helicopter crash. The State Department tonight is calling him a brutal participant in the repression of the Iranian people. And as CBS's Charlie Daggett reports, who succeeds him has global consequence.
In the dense fog at first light, Iranian state media showed what it said was the crash site, a trail of twisted metal and debris. Rescue teams pulled bodies from the wreckage, all 8 people killed when the chopper came down in remote mountains. The U.S. State Department said Iran had asked for U.S. assistance after the crash, but was unable to provide it for logistical reasons, and dismissed accusations that U.S. sanctions were to blame for restricting aviation parts.
Mohammad Marandi, a professor at the University of Tehran, who was previously an advisor to Iran's nuclear negotiations team and knew the president. We saw those images of the president's supporters mourning his death. Are people not angry that this accident, if that's what it was, could happen?
Wait a minute. First of all, your whole introduction was slanderous. It was abusive. It was aggressive. It's regime. Channel 4 News has really declined.
But I mean,
you have really declined. First of all, who said that he was a candidate for the leader and that the leader's son, he's in charge of his office? He's not in charge of the office. He doesn't have any major role to play in the leader's office. He's not a candidate for the leadership. Years from now, hopefully in the distant future, when we do have a new leader.
Of the state. Broadcast reaction to Raisi's death was mixed, to put mildly, fell into 2 categories. At one end of the emotional extreme, regime supporters mourning his death featured heavily on Iranian television today.
Last night, we kept checking the news until dawn. All of us were devastated.
The Iranian president and foreign minister survey a newly opened hydroelectric dam yesterday on the Iran-Azerbaijani border. Perfunctory photo op, which hours later turns to tragedy. This morning, a worker with Iran's Red Crescent explains that a drone has picked out what's left of the 40-year-old Bell 212 helicopter scattered across the forest floor. 8 people were on board. Raisi, the foreign minister, Amir Abdullahian, and 5 others, including the crew. There were 3 helicopters in the convoy. 2 had returned. Raisi's copter had crashed in the mountains covered by fog. A Turkish news vlogger, one of the first on the scene. Video footage shows Red Crescent staff carrying a covered body on a stretcher through the forest. A reporter from Iranian state TV concludes his own investigation into the cause of the crash. In a country braced for crisis, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's first message yesterday was, "Don't panic. There will be no disruption to the function."
Iran's president and foreign minister have both been killed in a helicopter crash. The U.S. State Department now says the deaths are unlikely to have an impact on Iran's actual policies, such as their support for Hamas and their push to provide nuclear weapons. Fox's Rebecca Castor reports from Washington.
After searching for hours in the mountains, Iranian soldiers made it to the crash site on Monday, where a helicopter carrying Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi and the country's foreign minister went down. They found no survivors.
At this point, there is no evidence of foul play. It looks like an accident.
Iranian officials will investigate the crash, and while the country mourns President Raisi's death,